Repercussion. It means a result or consequence of an action, often negative. For example, skipping classes can have serious repercussions later. Irrational, meaning not based on clear thinking or logic. For example, his fear of elevators is completely irrational. Unprecedented, meaning never done or known before. For example, the company saw unprecedented growth last year. Superficial, meaning only on the surface, not deep or thorough. For example, his knowledge of the subject was superficial. Perplexed, meaning confused and unsure. For example, she looked perplexed when I mentioned the change. Discreet, meaning careful not to cause embarrassment or attract too much attention. For example, please be discreet when you ask him about it. Subtle, meaning not obvious but clever or indirect. For example, there was a subtle hint of sarcasm in her tone. Authentic, meaning real, genuine, or true. For example, this painting is an authentic piece from the 18th century. Intrinsic, meaning belonging naturally, essential. For example, creativity is an intrinsic part of her personality. Feasible, meaning possible and practical to do. For example, starting the project next week seems feasible. Frivolous, meaning not serious or unnecessary. For example, stop spending money on frivolous things. Ostentatious, meaning showy or overly flashy to impress. For example, his ostentatious watch caught everyone's attention. Inevitable, meaning sure to happen, cannot be avoided. For example, some disagreements in a group are inevitable. Reticent, meaning not willing to speak or share thoughts. For example, he's reticent about his personal life. Scrutinize, meaning to look at something very carefully. For example, the documents were scrutinized before approval. Versatile, meaning able to do many different things well. For example, she's a versatile designer who works on both web and print. Ameliorate, meaning to improve or make something better. For example, the new policy aims to ameliorate traffic problems. Irritable, meaning easily annoyed or upset. For example, lack of sleep makes me irritable. Remorse, meaning deep regret or guilt for doing something wrong. For example, he felt remorse after lying to his friend. Benevolent, meaning kind and generous. For example, the benevolent teacher always helped struggling students. Tenacious, meaning not giving up easily, very determined. For example, she's tenacious in chasing her goals. Cynical, meaning distrusting or negative about people's intentions. For example, he's cynical about politicians and their promises. Compelling, meaning very interesting or convincing. For example, her argument was so compelling that everyone agreed. Diligent, meaning working hard with care and effort. For example, he's a diligent student who always submits assignments on time. Profound, meaning very deep, meaningful, or serious. For example, his speech had a profound effect on the audience.